So today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Barlean's Eye Remedy. We're going to talk about all of the great active ingredients in it that make this a complete proactive eye health supplement for all ages. And as you can see by this picture, it is definitely an omega swirl. So it's an emulsified format, an emulsified delivery of some really wonderful active ingredients. And let's see if we can get the slide to change and talk about those now. So the active ingredients in Barlean's Eye Remedy fall into several categories. So of course we have omega-3s, and you can see that I've pictured the ingredients here for you. You can see that school of fish there at the upper right. And it makes sense that Barlean's would put a fish oil in this because we are omega-3 experts, and omega-3s have some really great benefits for eye health. We've added 1,250 milligrams of omega-3s per tablespoon serving, and it's from the small-bodied mackerel, anchovy, and sardine. Like all of our other omega swirls, we've used this small-bodied fish oil in its natural triglyceride form. We've also used some beautiful antioxidants, and we'll talk about those. We have two families of antioxidants, the carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin isomers. We've added to this, and they're coming from marigold flowers. We'll talk about the type that we're using. It's called Lutamax 2020, and we'll go into detail about that on another slide, as well as the natural astaxanthin. The source is marine algae, and you can see that bright orange powder there that's in the picture. That's what that natural astaxanthin looks like. So those are the carotenoids. We've also added some flavonoid antioxidants. So another family of antioxidants. We've added wonderful antioxidants coming from grape seeds, so extracted from grape seeds, and also from blueberries. And we've heard a lot of great things about bilberry for eyes, and you may or may not know that blueberries are the cousin of bilberries. So it makes sense that these flavonoids come into this package with carotenoids and omega-3s for some really great proactive eye health. So let's talk about the features and the benefits. When we first started deciding that we were going to do an eye health supplement, we began to look at the aspect of focusing on age-related macular degeneration. You sometimes see this as AMD. And this is something that happens to eyes, and the retina, the macular area of the retina begins to break down, and this eventually will happen to all of us if we were to get old enough. But this is a real concern, and a lot of Americans, a lot of people in the world actually are suffering from age-related macular degeneration. So we thought of that first, and we also wanted to focus on eye strain, to be proactive and preventative against eye strain, because so many people seem to be looking for something to help with maybe the eye strain that they have at the end of the day. They're starting to notice it when they get home from work, or maybe they work outdoors and they believe the sun is causing eye strain. So lots of people are experiencing that every single day. And as we began to make the formula, there were some other studies came out that were talking about retinal damage from blue light. And some people know about blue light, and some of you may know, some of you may not. We're going to discuss blue light in a moment, but that was another real cause for concern for being proactive and protective for eye health. And so we incorporated that idea into this formula as well. It is a very complete eye health supplement. It has all of these vital nutrients, these wonderful antioxidants, and has a very premium source of lutein and zeaxanthin, and powerful astaxanthin, and the proprietary omega-3 fish oil. So we've got it all covered as far as ingredients. Now let's talk about that high energy blue light. And some of you, again, you may have heard about blue light. You may also have heard about UVB and UVA. And if you look at this diagram, you can see this wavelength for all these colors representing wavelengths of light. And the ultraviolet light that you've heard about regarding UVA and UVB, the reason that we wear sunglasses, is over here in this band. And you can see the magenta color and the medium blue color, and then this turquoise color. And this turquoise color represents the blue light band, and it is part of the ultraviolet light, but it is one that penetrates deep into the eye. Now, we always wear sunglasses because we've heard about UVB and UVA and how they penetrate somewhat into the eye, even past the lens for the UVB. But the blue light is interesting because we're finding out more and more about blue light, and that's because so many people are being exposed to it. And the interesting thing about blue light is that it penetrates deep into the eye, into the macular tissue that is part of the retina. And the macula is important because it really is connected to visual acuity. And as this blue light is, occurring over and over again and hitting the macula, it targets cells that are at the back of the eye. So they're called RPE cells, which stands for retinal pigment epithelial cells. And oxidative stress and damage will happen to these cells because of blue light over time. And it begins to manifest as eye fatigue. That may be another reason why we're hearing about so many people today having eye fatigue chronically. Then blurry vision and also headaches are associated with this blue light exposure. And studies show that damage can occur to these cells back in the macula in just about 3 weeks' time with extended blue light exposure. Now, it affects all age groups. This is something that's not just for elderly people or middle-aged people. This affects all age groups because it's emitted by digital devices. So our phones, our tablets, our computers, our televisions. It's also emitted by sunlight, but also those new LED and compact fluorescent bulbs that are energy saving and are being placed in lots of even public buildings and even outside street lamps for the LED and the compact fluorescents. And all of those emit this blue light. So you can see that, basically everyone, because how many of us have seen even little guys working on a tablet or playing on mom's phone, or they're in school and they're sitting under these LED lights or compact fluorescent bulbs, and then the school has provided them a tablet, so they're getting high energy blue light from a few sources throughout the day, and then they come home and they might play a video game or look at something on the computer, and so that's even more television, and that's even more blue light. So this blue light exposure is not going to go away. It's something that is going to stay with us and certainly be with us through all age groups because of the all of these devices that we have. Now, it would be nice if we had a pair of internal sunglasses that could protect us from this blue light. And, well, as it turns out, we sort of do. And let's talk about what that is. It turns out that the macular carotenoids are our best defense against blue light. And you can see here's a cutaway vision of an eye, and straight back into the eye, you can see what that macula area looks like. And 2 carotenoids are found naturally in this area. Our bodies process these and bring these through our diet directly into the macula. Lutein occurs in the outer macula, and zeaxanthin isomers, and they're called RR and RS, they occur in the inner macula. So these are natural protectants, kind of like our internal sunglasses. There are over 600 carotenoids now that we know of in nature, but yet only 3 of them, these 2 zeaxanthin isomers, and by the way, isomers, for those of you who may not know what an isomer is, it means that it has the same chemical makeup as something else. In this case, zeaxanthin is the same as lutein, but the structure of how the molecules are put together is a little bit different. So it turns out that these two two types of isomers, the zeaxanthin, is what structurally will fit right into that inner macula. So this is a nice combination of inner and outer lutein, basically. Now, we can get these in our diet. I know you're saying, well, we don't have marigolds in our diet. We don't usually eat marigolds, but marigolds are a source of a high concentration of these particular carotenoids. And I'll show you on another slide other things that would be combinations of lutein and zeaxanthin that you will get in your diet. But we've chosen to use something called Lutamax 2020, which is a trademarked combination of ingredients that has been extracted from these non-GMO marigold flowers, and it's in the ratio of 10 milligrams of lutein to 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin, and that follows through in each tablespoon serving of our eye remedy. And this is a very significant amount, this 10 milligrams to 2 milligrams, because there were two very famous AREDS studies. And these two studies, AREDS 1 and AREDS 2, were looking at age-related macular degeneration and what types of nutrients could be used to be proactive and to slow down age-related macular degeneration and to cause the effect to not be so great. And they found that lutein and zeaxanthin in both of the studies were very important. They were the carotenoids that could help do this. Now, Lutamax is a really safe ingredient. It is manufactured in a wonderful facility that's GMP certified, just like our own, and it's made by a company called Omnimax. And this particular combination of lutein zeaxanthin, this Lutamax, was actually tested by the FDA and given GRAS status, which means generally regarded as safe. Some of you will remember that because we have other ingredients that we've spoken about that have GRAS status, like the Provenol in our omega-7 products and the CLA Tonilin that's in our CLA Swirl, that wonderful apple-flavored one. So this was a beautiful combination that we decided to use in this formula, and it is certainly important because, not only do lutein and zeaxanthin filter blue light, so they really are like sunglasses back there, they also are powerful antioxidants, so they help lessen inflammation that may have already occurred in the macula. So a wonderful combination. These carotenoids are pretty wonderful, and as I say, are easy for our bodies to take from our food and get into our macula, where they're going to do the most good. Now, I wanted to check out what the American Optometric Association recommended, and it's quite interesting. All of the information on this page, except for the chart that you saw before, actually the diagram of the eye, come from their website at aoa.org, and so you can check out that website if you're interested in that. And what they're recommending, they recommend the 10 to 2 milligram ratio of lutein to zeaxanthin, just like we have in our products. And they say that it is recommended daily as being protective against age-related decline, disease, and damage that can occur. So we're right on target with our product. Lutein and zeaxanthin can be measured in the retina with a test, actually. An ophthalmologist could do this, and they're looking at macular pigment optical density, so an MPOD. And by looking at this, this visual of your macula, they can find out, is this a state where disease could be present, or it would be easy for a decline in eyesight because there's not enough of these wonderful carotenoids there as this internal sunglasses, right? And how is someone's visual function? Could the problems maybe that someone's having with their vision be because they don't have enough of this macular pigment? And so it's interesting to me that, there are ophthalmologists everywhere that know about this and are applying this in their practices. So it's kind of exciting because these These carotenoids, this lutein and zeaxanthin, have been found in many studies to be of good help for being proactive. Now, they also did say, the American Optometric Association says that most Western diets are too low in lutein and zeaxanthin. And here are some places that you're getting your lutein and zeaxanthin. If you like greens, like kale and spinach and collards and turnip greens, you're going to be doing pretty well if you're eating them every day and you're eating a cup of them at a time or nearly a cup. And you can see the milligram amounts here. That's a pretty good milligram amount, that 23.8 for kale. And look at that, collard greens, 14.6. Well, unfortunately, not a lot of people are eating this much greens, even several times a week. Much less every day, because that's what, remember what they recommend. They recommend this amount daily. So there are some other places, even eggs has a little bit, 0.3 of a milligram, that's not much. But you can kind of look at this listing and think about that. I noticed it was interesting to me that the raw spinach had actually less available lutein zeaxanthin than the cooked spinach did. So I'm thinking that somehow that cooking actually liberates it and you're able to probably absorb it better. But not a lot of people are doing this. So you can see why the North American diet is, too low in lutein and zeaxanthin. So the best place to get it is going to be through a supplement. And here's where it resides. If you look at that visual of the eye, you can see the lutein and the RS and the RR are going to be right back here. That's the place that they're housed in the eye, which is really amazing when you consider that's directly where that blue light is coming. There is one more carotenoid that we've added that's really important, astaxanthin. And our astaxanthin is coming from marine algae. And some people call astaxanthin the king of the carotenoids. And there's a reason that they did this. A lot of people coined this phrase in 2007 when a study was presented where it looked at astaxanthin's ability to stop free radicals. And remember, that's sort of like an ORAC score, and we've talked about that before in relation to our olive leaf. So they looked at natural astaxanthin against vitamin C, CoQ10, green tea catechins, alpha lipoic acid, and you can see why they crowned astaxanthin king. 6,000 times the ability that vitamin C had in stopping those free radicals, 800 times what CoQ10 could manage to do, 550 times green tea catechins, and 75 times the powerful alpha lipoic acid, which is a great antioxidant too. So it really outperformed all of these. And certainly natural astaxanthin could rightly be called king. Now, I'm saying natural astaxanthin because there are two kinds of astaxanthin. You can get natural astaxanthin coming from algae, and that's what this picture, this beautiful orange, or you can get it synthesized, so a synthetic astaxanthin. And synthetic astaxanthin works. It does work as a carotenoid, but it's certainly not nearly as potent as natural astaxanthin from algae. And we certainly want you to know that when people ask, it says it on the label, but we are using natural astaxanthin from algae. And there's been so many great studies on astaxanthin showing its health benefits for all over the body, muscle recovery, heart health, certainly cognitive function benefits, just some terrific studies. There's been lots of books written on astaxanthin. But there are also some great studies showing its ability to help promote eye health. So there are studies showing it supports against oxidative stress in the retina. Well, that sounds like right where we're looking for help in our eye remedy. It's protective against light-induced retinal damage. It relieves eye fatigue. There are two good studies on astaxanthin, human studies, showing that it helped relieve eye fatigue, chronic eye fatigue. It increases the blood flow in the retina and the capillaries found in the retina. So those are all really great reasons to rely on astaxanthin to be helpful in eye health. Another great thing about astaxanthin is it crosses the blood-brain and the blood-retina barrier. So it will collect in the retina. If people will take it day after day, it's something that's not usually found in our diet. Most of us aren't eating a lot of marine algae, but if we get it in places and we ingest it every day, then it will end up being found in the retina, which is kind of exciting. So it will come in, this king astaxanthin will come in like lutein and zeaxanthin and help protect our eyes. So that was a wonderful combination of carotenoids. We decided to add a couple of other antioxidants. These are from the family of antioxidants called flavonoids, and this is coming from grapeseed extract and blueberry extract. And there were some interesting combinations. We found studies supporting both of them as increasing night vision capabilities. So a lot of people are concerned about, especially as they get older, of driving at night and not seeing as well. And so helping to support night vision any way that we can is a great benefit. There was a great study showing that grapeseed extract can help protect against cataracts, and a lot of Americans, as they age, a lot of people around the world are concerned about cataracts, and so having this great antioxidant that's been shown to be protective against that was a good combination as well. It also reinforces the collagen structure in the retina. So really supporting this age-related stuff, but also helping to support fight free radicals, because after all, it is an antioxidant. The blueberry extract, besides the night vision, there were studies showing that it was protective against age-related eye deterioration and light-induced eye damage. So there's that phrase again. So it's all about protecting against that light-induced eye damage. So this was a nice combination of having these wonderful antioxidants from the carotenoid part of the antioxidant family and the flavonoids together to be able to support eye health. And of course, we have to mention omega-3s. We know that Barlean's is omega-3 expert, as I mentioned, and we know that omega-3s are absolutely foundational to eye health. We know that DHA is the most abundant omega-3 that we find in our eyes, and omega-3s are considered as building material for our retinal tissue. We often think of EPA as being functional and DHA as being structural. So that's kind of what we're trying to get across in these bullet points, is that DHA is important to ingest because it helps the structure of our eyes. It helps rebuild that retinal tissue, and it helps with visual acuity throughout our lifetime. But the EPA is also very important because remember, EPA, as we've heard in other trainings, is anti-inflammatory. And so all omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, but EPA really is the one that helps quench that inflammation in the body. So having that there is very important for the retina and for the macula, so we can reduce the amount of inflammation that might already be occurring in the eye. And omega-3s in general are important for cellular structure. They definitely influence the permeability and the fluidity and even the thickness of those photoreceptor cells that we need to have in the retina functioning well for us to be able to see and to protect our eyesight for our lifetime. Now, there are separate studies, and by the way, I will be making all of these slides available to you, and at the end of the slides, there are 4 slides that every time that you see a layout of these particular bullet points, they are listed on the slides, and there will be a study that goes with them to back them up. So you can certainly have those. You can print them out if you like, keep them with you in your demo box if you need to pull them out. Maybe you want to put them in a little binder so someone could look through it, or you could, show it to them at the demo table and then show them the the reference, and if they wanted to at home, they could just take a picture of it with their phone and go home and look up the study if they would like to know more about this. EPA and DHA, there are specific studies just on eye health that look at, preventing against dry eye or helping to increase tear production, especially as we age. But remember, there are a lot of younger people who maybe are on certain medications and they're not able to, they've already gone into a dry eye syndrome simply because that medication causes it. So omega-3 can help with that. And we mentioned supporting eye function, and also there's been studies against that age-related macular degeneration that I mentioned a while back. The other important thing about fish oil in general is that it can facilitate the bioavailability of carotenoids. Carotenoids are fat-soluble antioxidants. So remember, we're talking about the lutein, the zeaxanthin, and the astaxanthin. Now, those are really important carotenoids that are going to truly protect the macula area of the eye in the retina. And really, when you take those as supplements, you need to take them with some sort of a fat. Well, fish oil, of course, is a fat. It's fatty acids. So having the fish oil in the product not only has great benefit and is foundational to eye health, but it also helps us absorb those carotenoids even better. So, and by the way, we sort of mentioned it in the beginning, but remember, this is an emulsification. So the bioavailability of this omega-3 is going to be much greater than it would be, say, if it were in a soft gel or just a straight liquid that you take off of a spoon. So we've got several extra layers of bioavailability. We've got the omega-3s helping you to absorb the carotenoids, and then we've got the emulsification helping you to absorb the omega-3s. So it's a very nice win-win situation as far as bioavailability. Now, here's the supplement facts panel, and you'll be able to see this certainly when you're demoing it. But always remember that when you're looking at this panel, the actives, the reason that people are going to buy this product are down here between these two bold lines towards the bottom of the supplement facts. There's the EPA and DHA, and if you add those two together, just with the EPA and DHA, you're going to get 1,000 milligrams of EPA DHA per tablespoon. That's a very good amount. And all together with the other omega-3s that are in it, and these are a little bit of ALA and a little bit of something called DPA, and so you've got these other omega-3s that are things that we're not looking as research for eye health and not occurring in a significant amount, but you've got the 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA there as the power-packed omega-3s. And then you've got the lutein and the zeaxanthin. It says right there from marigold flowers. That's the Lutamax 2020. And then you've got astaxanthin, blueberry extract, and the grapeseed extract. So here's what you're going to focus on when people are picking up the bottle off of your table. And the label looks a little bit different than our other swirls. We're going in a little bit different direction for our ingredient-specific swirls, so you'll see some changes on some labels coming up this coming year in our ingredient-specific, like our CoQ10 and our CLA tonillin and our MCT swirl. You'll see kind of a different label that reflects more of a supplement-looking one, because your people at your demo table, they're going to taste it at your demo table, but later when they come back for more, when they finish the bottle they buy from you, they're going to be looking in the aisle that has the eye supplements, not necessarily in the cooler. This is shelf stable in your stores, so it will be in the aisle with the eye supplements on the shelf. The serving size is 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. Remember that 10 to 2 ratio, 10 milligrams of lutein, 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin. There it is on the supplement facts. That is that recommended amount from the American Optometric Association. And so in 1 tablespoon, they're going to be getting that. Now, they could double up if they like, if their ophthalmologist wants them to get more. that's certainly great. They can certainly do that, and that would bring them up to 2,000 milligrams of EPA DHA per serving, so a very nice amount. And by the way, remember that it is a natural triglyceride, small-bodied fish oil. People will ask that. And of course, it's ultra purified, pharmaceutical grade. It is free of contaminants, heavy metals, and furans and dioxins, so pesticides and herbicides, and all of the the other 209 PCB congeners. So it's been very well looked at for purity and for potency. If a child is going to take this, and by all means it is appropriate for all ages, you'd probably want to cut that 1 tablespoon in half for a young child. We would always say that if someone wanted to give this to their child, maybe they have eye problems, that it would be a great idea, we would recommend wholeheartedly that they take it to their ophthalmologist or their pediatrician, and they have them look at the ingredients, and then they can make, based on that particular child, their weight, their eye condition, other things that might be going on, other health problems, or maybe there aren't healthcare problems. We don't know those things as demo people or as manufacturers or even store people don't know that. So it's best to leave that up to a healthcare professional. And certainly remember that there is a 100% money back guarantee. So if they bought it and they took it to their child's pediatrician or the ophthalmologist when their child went in, and the ophthalmologist for some reason didn't want them to take it, they certainly could get their money back at the store. This is the promise that we have on all of our products. So let's talk a little bit about how the ingredients lay out in this Omega Swirl, because remember, that's what it is. Now, when you see this swirl, and maybe you've had a chance to try it already, you'll see that it is extremely orange. It's so bright. And you're going to wonder which one of these ingredients, what was the color we put in there, and why did we put in so much? Well, we didn't put in any color. It's actually the 2 of the actives, that Lutamax 2020, remember it's coming from those bright orange flowers, and natural astaxanthin coming from that marine algae. This is what's occurring in the product that gives it this bright orange color. So you can kind of see that we pretty much had to go with an orange or a tangerine flavor to reflect that color, because we already had a color to start with. So so we did do a nice tangerine flavor, which is a combination of tangerine and orange. And here are all of the ingredients, how they lay out on the label. So you'll see it listed as this. And I've done this before with you, where I've taken a swirl and then kind of talked through the ingredients. And the stars of the show are the actives. So that's the fish oil, the Lutamax 2020, the astaxanthin, the grapeseed extract, and the blueberry extract. Those are the reasons that someone would buy this product. Now, we're going to just say where all of these other ingredients occur. We know that in all of the swirls, if it's a fish oil swirl, we've got some things that I say are the bodyguards of that fish oil. It's something that keeps it fresh. It's an antioxidant combination, but it's just for the fish oil. And that's the vitamin E coming as D-alpha tocopherol, rosemary extract, and ascorbyl palmitate, which is a fat-soluble vitamin C. So all of those are there just to protect the fish oil. And then you'll notice there's a little bit of safflower in the ingredients. It's a very small bit of safflower, and it comes as part of the Lutamax 2020. It's just a carrier for the lutein and zeaxanthin to fit into the formula. There's a tiny bit of maltodextrin, and that's only related to the blueberry extract. That's coming in as a powder, and as they juice those blueberries and pull the extract out of the flavonoid, they spray a little bit of maltodextrin coming from corn. And of course, it's non-GMO. Remember, I had mentioned that all of the ingredients are non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free. And it's sprayed onto the blueberry extract powder. That's the only place it occurs in that small amount. Now, the natural flavors I've mentioned, and the citric acid you'll notice is in all of our swirls, and that's there to support the flavor. That's vitamin C, and it pops out that beautiful tangerine flavor, which is a terrific flavor, by the way. Xylitol always occurs as our sweetener in our omega swirls, and the texture accounts for the rest of the ingredients. So there's water, glycerin, gum arabic, guar gum, xanthan gum. These all are what make up the sort of almost like a smoothie pudding-like texture. And the sorbic acid then supports the integrity of this texture. It means it keeps it safe so that no kinds of microbes or anything would grow in it well past its shelf life. So it keeps the integrity, keeps the product very clean. And that's how all of the ingredients come together. So if someone were to ask you something like, what does the safflower do and how much is in there? You can say it's in the Lutamax 2020. You can see where that occurs in the listing of ingredients. And it's just the carrier for the Lutamax 2020. It's not a big dose of safflower that's put in. We wouldn't have any reason to do that. And you can see where the other ones fall into. And if you ever have a question about any of the ingredients and you maybe want to go over the slide with me or have other questions about these formulas, please email me or give me a call, and I'll certainly you'll have my email when I send you out all of this information tomorrow. I know some of you are new on the call and I haven't got to meet you yet. So, by the way, welcome all of you to Barlean's, and I hope you have a lot of fun demoing our product. So who is going to be at your table looking at this eye remedy? Well, a lot of people will pick it up and look at it because a lot of people are wanting to preserve their vision. So maybe it's someone who's getting older and they want to, their long-term goal is to keep their vision as long as they can. Or maybe they're concerned about age-related macular degeneration. And they're going to look at this and they might stop by and say, wow, my eye doctor said something about lutein and zeaxanthin. This has it in there, and it has fish oil in it. That's great. People who have a lot of eye fatigue and eye strain, we know now that could be because of that blue light. And as more and more information comes out and more studies come out, more and more people will begin to be in tune with this idea. Some of them pick it up on their own. They notice that after they've worked all day on a computer in their office and then they come home and use their iPad for a while to read the news or watch something, they know their eyes hurt. Or towards the end of the week when they've been using a computer all week long at their job, they know that their eyes are hurting. And so they have put together that idea of eye fatigue and eye strain being connected to blue light. They maybe don't know the term blue light yet, but more and more information is coming out about that, and they'll be hearing more about it, and you'll be sharing with a lot of them as to what blue light is. It might even be good to print off the one slide about blue light. Maybe you might want to laminate that and have that on the table. So somebody might be looking at that and begin to understand how much exposure they might have, or maybe their child is having because they're really into doing computer games or something like that. There will also be people who want two products in one. They've already been buying lutein and zeaxanthin or some other combinations, or maybe astaxanthin and lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health. And they're also buying fish oil. And now they're going to taste this product and say, what? Here's a product I can get both of them in one. And it's going to taste really great. I'm going to take it every day, or someone in my family is going to take it every day. And remember, this is an emulsification, so it's going to be absorbed better than if they were taking them just, say, from a typical soft gel or a powder in a capsule, as far as the lutein, zeaxanthin, and the astaxanthin. And they're going to have that beautiful combination, the bioavailability benefit with the fish oil being taken at the same time as these powerful carotenoids. So these are the types of people that will be coming and trying it out at your table and will be totally astonished at how it tastes and how delicious it is and how easy it is to take every single day. All right, now I wanted to show you a little bit about what we have for you at the demo table. There will be $3 off iRemedy coupons, and the coupons will not be coming out until next month. We've gotten some really, really great deals on the reps being able to place these products, and then after a certain amount of time, that initial placement, then we're going to be sure to have these $3 off coupons that you can have at your tables when you're demoing. And it will come in a nice little little rack of 6 bottles. So stores might have it displayed this way, maybe even, as I said, on the shelf, the aisle that might have other eye health products, or maybe they'll have it sitting out, maybe even on a counter, displaying it as a brand new product. We also have a consumer card, so this is going to be lit 410. And again, it's always up in this little corner. And so it's going to match our the bottle, so that you'll be able to have it on your demo table and people will be able to walk off with it. Maybe they want to take a card and show it to their eye doctor, and they can take it with them and show it to the eye doctor, and they can check it out and see all of the ingredients that it has in it. So you'll get these wonderful consumer cards as well. And I'm not sure that we'll have samples in the future, but that is something certainly that is being talked about. So I wanted to show you the research slide. So you've got 4 slides of research that go by each ingredient. This one is on Lutamax 2020, and the previous one was on omega-3. So all of those bullet points you'll be able to back up with the particular studies that have been done. So let's back up a little bit to the product here, and I would love to take your questions if you have some, and we'll start those now. So I'll look for hands raised or anything that's typed out, and I would love to call on you and chat with you, and you can ask your questions.